I'd like to bring this meeting to order, a special meeting of council, February 3rd, 2025. First order of business is disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. You can declare it now or anytime during the meeting. And I will read some prepared notes as well as the process. So starting, it's my pleasure to welcome the three candidates that have put their names forward to fill the vacant council position. All across Canada, municipalities are struggling to get interested citizens to put their names forward to represent their communities. We as council appreciate the three citizens have put their hand up to act in this role. A successful candidate will be tasked with making tough decisions in the spirit of making Atikokan a better, safer, and more prosperous community. The current council takes this role very seriously, and as I'm sure you will too. By the end of this meeting, we'll have heard from all three candidates, and council will make their decision in public right here in council chambers. Lastly, I would like to remind everyone that in less than 15 months, any qualified applicant will be able to put their names forward for the 2026 municipal election held in October. And with that, I will read the process that we're going to follow. So the seat of the Town of Atikokan councillor was declared vacant in accordance with section 262-1 of the Municipal Act on December 19th, 2024. Council authorized the vacancy to be filled by appointment. Notice was posted inviting interested individuals who are qualified electors for the Town of Atikokan to submit an application and supporting documentation. The candidates were asked to submit a personal statement and were provided with 4 predetermined questions. During this meeting, candidates will be asked to sit in an adjacent room until it is their time to address council. The order of speakers will be done in alphabetical order of the surname called by the clerk. Each candidate will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves and read their personal statement of qualifications. Council will pose 4 predetermined questions, and candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to each question. Council will provide no further questions or comments. When candidates begin speaking, a timer will be set. The deputy clerk will raise her hand when there are 30 seconds remaining and will be told when their time is up. When candidates are done speaking, it is up to them if they would like to return to the boardroom or stay in council chambers. Once all candidates have had their turn to speak and have returned to council chambers, council will take a 5-minute recess before voting. Council members are reminded not to discuss the candidates amongst themselves during the break. When back in session, council will vote by way of public vote to show of hands and vote for only one candidate. The candidates' names will be called in order in which they address council. Voting will continue until a candidate receives more than 1/2 of the votes, which in this case is 4, of the voting members of council until a tie is broken. The clerk will provide further information on the voting procedure at this time. The successful candidate will be appointed by resolution to fill the vacancy effective upon taking the oath of office. And I have a resolution for the list of candidates. Moved by Councillor Stimpson, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that the following candidates who have signified in writing that they are legally qualified to hold office and consented to accept the office if appointed to fill the vacancy be considered for appointment in such vacancy. Haley Foy, Tyson Garreau, Sarah Lyons. In favor? Carried. Okay, with all that out of the way, we will sequester the second 2 candidates. Jason, do you want to bring them? Thank you. And we'll ask Haley Foy to step to the mic. Oh, yes, Councillor Martin?
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Did I hear you say there was going to be 4 councillors voting? did I misinterpret that?
There's 4 questions.
Oh, okay,
All
sorry.
counselors are voting, including, and then myself as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are you ready? All ready? And the floor is yours.
Good evening, council members and community members. My name is Haley Foy, and I am honored to be here today as a proud Indigenous woman, a community advocate, and a professional in personal development and cultural preservation. I believe a community will only grow to the extent that the people living in it grow. My goal is to contribute to that growth by helping bridge gaps, foster understanding, and create opportunities for residents to reach their highest potential. I currently serve as a prevention worker at Northwestern Ontario Métis Child and Family Services, where I work closely with youth and families to provide programs that promote resilience, self-awareness, and well-being. I also collaborate with schools, councils, and community organizations to strengthen mental health support and prevent families from being caught in the system. Beyond my work in prevention services, I also have experience in the financial industry, where I have developed a strong understanding of economic structures, financial policies, and wealth-building strategies. I have worked with various types of insurance, investments, and financial planning tools, giving me insight into how financial security can help shape communities. Additionally, I have experience reading and analyzing policies, which is a key skill in understanding and implementing effective governance. I have also been involved in nonprofit grant writing, an essential tool for securing funding and resources for community initiatives. These skills allow me to understand both the big picture of economic growth and the practical steps needed to bring financial stability and opportunity to individuals and businesses. My experiences extend far beyond Atikokan. I have lived and worked in cities all across the world, and I have traveled to 14 different countries. This has given me insight into different economic structures and community dynamics, from thriving cities to struggling towns. I bring this perspective to the table, along with my ability to adapt, be resourceful, and step outside my comfort zone. I am well connected in the community and passionate about ensuring that everyone has access to the resources and opportunities they need to succeed. I am not perfect. I am young, but I do have a substantial amount of life experience that has shaped who I am today. Most importantly, I am eager to learn. Growth is my main goal, not just for myself, but for my community. I am committed to my own personal excellence, and I believe true leadership comes from continuous learning and a willingness to understand different perspectives. One of the biggest challenges I see here in Atikokan is the gap between the township and the people in the community. Often, when people don't understand the reasons behind decisions, they start creating their own narratives, which can lead to division. My priority here is to help bridge this gap by fostering transparency and communication. A community should be connected. Right now, I believe there is a disconnect between the township and the residents, and I believe that we need to work towards closing that gap. I want to ensure that people feel heard, understood, and empowered. I want to see Atikokan filled with people and businesses operating at their highest potential, thriving, not just surviving. If given the opportunity to serve on council, I will work towards bringing more opportunities for housing, employment, education, health, personal development, and cultural preservation. Atikokan is full of potential, and I am ready to step up and help bring the community together. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to the opportunity to contribute and serve.
Thank you, Haley. Hey, Haley, we have a list of 4 questions. We're going to take turns asking questions. So I get the honor of asking the first question. So you have 2 minutes to answer. So what motivated you to apply to this position, and what unique skills and experiences do you bring that will benefit the community?
I genuinely believe in the power of community, not just as a place to live, but as a network where people work together to improve the quality of life. Right now, many people here are struggling, and I believe that by sharing knowledge, resources, and opportunities, we can create the real change. My passion for personal development drives me. I have come a long way in my own journey, and I know that my experiences and growth can help others do the same. In my career, as I've said, I've worked across multiple industries and multiple countries. And from prevention services to finance, my experience in the financial sector has given me a strong understanding of economical structures, financial policies, wealth building strategies, and I've worked with insurances, investments, and financial planning, and that's just deepened my insight into the financial security and how it impacts the community. Additionally, I have experience reading and analyzing policies, an essential skill for effective governance. My background in nonprofit grant writing has allowed me to secure funding for community initiatives, something that I believe Atikokan could benefit Atikokan's growth. Through my work in various cities, I've gained insight into different economic models and community development strategies, and this perspective helps me see new possibilities. Most importantly, I am resourceful, I'm coachable, and I'm committed to stepping outside my comfort zone to ensure that decisions made at the council table are in the highest good for everyone. I am eager to contribute, to learn, to bring forward ideas that will support Atikokan's long-term success.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
Haley, what do you think are the top priorities for our community?
Great question. Right now, the biggest priority I see is closing the gap between the township and the residents. We are supposed to be a team, but there is division, and I believe that's holding us back. When people don't understand why decisions are made, misinformation spreads, which creates frustration and disconnection. I believe that we need to focus on building trust, communication, and transparency so people feel heard and engaged in the future of Atikokan. Beyond that, economic development, housing, and employment opportunities are key areas of focus. We need to create opportunities that help people thrive and not just get by. If we can come together as a united community, we will be able to take on these challenges more effectively and create that real lasting change.
Thank you. Third question, Councillor Knowles.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Haley, how would you handle situations where your personal feelings or opinions differ from council's final decision? Thank you.
So I believe that leadership is about understanding different perspectives and making decisions that benefit the greater good, even when they don't align with my own personal opinions. My background in neurolinguistic programming has taught me that everyone sees things through their own lens and everything is shaped by their own experiences. And something often said is the map is not the territory. And what that means is there are multiple ways to approach the same problem, and every decision has a rationale behind it. What I would do is take the time to understand the reasoning behind the council's decision, and most importantly, communicate that to the community in a way that helps them see the bigger picture. My priority would be to educate and bridge the gap between leadership and residents, ensuring that even when people disagree, they at least understand why a decision was made. That kind of transparency builds trust and strengthens the community.
Thank you. And the last question goes to Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. And Haley, thank you for your opening statement and for putting your name forth. It's encouraging to see young people taking an interest in the community and in council as well. So my question is, what do you think our community should look like in the future?
Atikokan should be a connected community where people feel a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose. I envision a town filled with individuals and businesses operating at their highest potential, where people feel fulfilled, supported, and empowered to build the life they want. Right now, too many people feel like life is just about getting by, and I want to see a shift where people truly enjoy their lives, where they have opportunities for personal and professional growth, and where they feel like they are a part of something bigger than themselves. If we come together as a team, residents, businesses, and leadership, we can create a future where Atikokan thrives in all areas, economically, socially, and culturally.
Thank you.
Thank you, Haley. So that's the 4 questions we have. So as the process stated, you're welcome to sit and listen to the other candidates, or you can... Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you very much. Hey, Tyson, just when we're ready to go? Okay, you have 5 minutes and the floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and members of our community. My name is Tyson Garrow, and I'm a longtime citizen of Atikokan. I bring a range of skills to the table. My career has mostly been based in road maintenance. I've taken a part in the bidding process for jobs as well as being responsible for following a budget. For a large portion of my career, I was a hands-on supervisor, which gave me great leadership skills. Excuse me. I have a strong work ethic with a desire to learn and expand. I enjoy researching things until I'm confident that I am making the most informed decision I'm capable of. People that know me would describe me as loyal, dependable, passionate, and very candid. I have a vision for Atikokan and would work hard to achieve it. Finding ways to lower or at least stabilize taxes is a must. Times are tight for families and they're going to get tighter. Tax hikes are unacceptable in an already overtaxed town. Our infrastructure needs a fresh perspective to be improved, and I believe I can bring that. We continue to do things the same way, and it has been proven time and time again it doesn't work. There are options to these problems, and we need to consider them and implement them. With streets like Burn Street, what could we possibly have to lose? I'll quote a visitor to Atikokan, a beautiful town, but I would never move here because of the roads. Tourism has almost completely died. The wood industry has always been unreliable at best, and the upcoming threat of losing hydro has to be addressed. Atikokan must look at ways to bring in new taxpayers and provide them with a living that can sustain their families. Houses and properties that belong to the town are rotting and need to be sold for the revenue both in the sale and future taxes. There is no longer any accountability. As an example, we continue to use the same engineering company that deemed Mercury Avenue culvert safe without so much as a load restriction. What message does that send? No matter the quality of work we do, we will get paid anyway. That message goes to contractors, engineers, and town employees. Most of us don't receive such a message from our employers, and the town certainly shouldn't be sending that message with our tax dollars. Finally, I would like to talk about democracy or lack thereof. Democracy was something we were proud of. Our country and our freedoms were built on it. With all the changes over even one lifetime, the way we achieve democracy has been left in the past. For many years, we the people have realized the system no longer works or is simply disregarded as it is in our small town in this very room tonight. I would like to bring democracy back into this century. The people have voices and they should be heard far more than once every 4 years. In this day and age, people should be making far more decisions. A system can be set up with the use of the internet to properly inform the people. Council can provide the pros and cons to the people, and then the people can vote. If there is one thing I've learned, change will require the people having a voice. My vision is to see this happening on both a provincial level and a federal level, but maybe it starts in the small town of Atikokan. Bringing a further, truer source of democracy would surely be something we could all be proud of. The gap between the people and council needs to be narrowed. I didn't come here today for votes from council. I came here for the citizens of Atikokan. How do we even respect the council that has showed so much disrespect for the democracy we hold so dearly? If you were a part of the events that brought myself and the other candidates here today, you're no better than Trudeau. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Tyson. So we have 4 questions that you've been given, and we will take turns asking the questions. And the first councillor to ask a question will be Councillor Sean.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Thank you, Tyson, for putting your name forward. I appreciate your candidacy. My question to you is, what motivated you to apply to this position? And what unique skills and experiences do you bring that will benefit the community?
Thank you. I was motivated to apply for many reasons. There is no way to justify the decisions that brought us here today. I don't like the path the country, province, and town are currently on. I see a huge lack of accountability. I believe we've come a long way with transparency, but there is still room to improve. It takes a community to make changes. I want to bring the voices of the citizens to this room. I've addressed council in the past and don't believe Our voices are being heard. Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. I'm here to make change. I've outlined some of my skills and experiences already. I think the biggest thing I can offer is honesty, loyalty, and a lack of desire to play any games. The town can count on me to be candid and doing what is best for the town.
Thank you. Thanks, Tyson. Next up is Councillor Stimson, question 2.
First off, I just never got to ask you a question. I just want to thank you very much for putting your name forward. Tyson, thank you too for putting your name forward. What do you think are the top priorities for our community?
Thanks. I think taxes and what we get from them are a top priority for the community. Ultimately, lowering taxes may help expand Atikokan. New taxpayers may come along with new businesses. Atikokan, once a small mining town, has survived long after we should have. That is a fantastic example of what we can do. But we always have to be looking forward to ensure we continue to survive. Currently, there are very few opportunities for young people to start a family here. There are jobs available, but most do not pay enough to sustain a family. Most of us here that make a decent living don't work in Atikokan. We need to find ways to bring people into town, not have them leave. Our roads, again, will play a big part in that, and we could likely save money and improve the situation.
Thank you. And I have the next question, the third question. So how would you handle situations where your personal feelings or opinions differ from council's final decisions?
Thank you. Well, I will start out by saying if I was on council, I would feel like I had a voice and a vote. I think that's what most of us want and feel we don't have, even more so today. If I was on council and had a voice and a vote, but things didn't go my way at that time, I would have to accept that. It is our current, albeit obsolete, method of democracy and still must be respected. I would then continue to try and find a way to bring it back to the table if I felt strong enough and knew it was something the community truly wanted. If the community truly had a voice, then there would be no reason for any of this, as the majority would have spoken and a truer democracy would have been achieved. Lacking that, if I was on council, it would be the voices of the community I would be here to represent, so my personal feelings would be irrelevant.
Thanks, Tyson. And the last question, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Thank you, Tyson. My question, Tyson, to you is what do you think our community should look like in the future?
Thanks, Jimmy. I would like to see growth. Vacant lots filled with taxpayers. I'd like to see more services offered here, tourism returning. I'd love to see Highway 11 rerouted through Atikokan, but that's unlikely. So I'd look at selling properties for businesses on Highway 11 so travelers know we even exist back here. In order to get Atikokan thriving again, we must look at all options. We cannot afford to lose good paying jobs like hydro and not replace them, or better yet, keep them and create more. This is how growth will happen. It's a big task, but I believe it can be accomplished with the right leadership and a community willing to support its future. We need to hear the voices of the community members because everyone has something to offer. If we can bridge this gap in our near future, I believe we can all be prosperous here.
Thank you, Tyson. So you have the option to sit in the gallery and listen to the next candidate, or you can return outside at your choice.
Thank you.
Ready? And you're welcome, Sarah, and your 5 minutes starts now.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Ferguson and members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself and share why I am seeking the role of councillor for Atikokan. This community has always been my home. My grandparents moved here in the 1950s. My father was raised here, and so was I. Even though my husband and I work outside of Atikokan, we have made the deliberate choice to raise our daughters here because of the strong sense of community, shared values, and the quality of life Atikokan offers. This town has given us so much to my family, and I want to contribute to the work already being done to support its growth and sustainability. I bring over 20 years of experience in government administration, planning, and policy development through my career with the Ontario government. I've worked at the intersection of environmental sustainability, economic growth, and community needs, consulting with municipalities, Indigenous communities, industry, and public stakeholders to develop policies that reflect diverse interests and priorities. Beyond strategic planning, I have hands-on experience in operations, facility management, enforcement, and emergency response. I've been involved in contract development and oversight, infrastructure, maintenance, and funding partnerships, practical knowledge that has given me insight into the challenges rural communities face daily. I've also worked as a water treatment operator, emergency response coordinator, and enforcement trainer, mentor, and designated park warden. These roles have strengthened my ability to problem solve, remain calm under pressure, and break down complex issues into clear, actionable steps. In addition to my professional experience, I'm in the final weeks of completing my Master of Rural Planning degree, specializing in regional and Indigenous planning. My studies have deepened my knowledge of rural economic development, demographic analysis, and municipal governance. Most importantly, they have reinforced the importance of strategic planning and long-term visioning, skills that I believe will complement the expertise already within council and administration. While I intend to contribute to all aspects of municipal governance, my experiences are particularly relevant in the following areas. Strategic infrastructure development. I look forward to working with council and the town's leadership team to identify and advocate for sustainable infrastructure, including essential services like water treatment, waste management, and transportation. My practical experience managing operational systems and securing funding through partnerships will help support discussions on maintaining and upgrading infrastructure that aligns with Atikokan's needs. Economic and social development opportunities. Atikokan's natural and cultural assets provide a strong foundation for economic and social resilience. By working together, we can foster opportunities to attract businesses, support local entrepreneurship, and improve access to programs and services that meet residents' needs. My experience balancing environmental, economic, and social priorities equips me to contribute meaningfully to these conversations. Youth engagement and retention. I believe young people are essential to Atikokan's future. I'm eager to work with council and enhance employment opportunities, accessible services, and recreational amenities that make Atikokan an attractive place for youth and families. Engaging young people in planning and decision-making will be a priority to ensure their voices are heard in shaping Atikokan's future. Transparency and collaboration. Good governance depends on open communication and trust. I will work alongside council to support meaningful engagement with residents and help ensure that decisions are transparent, inclusive, and reflect the community's values. These are just a few areas where I hope to contribute, but I recognize that no one person has all the answers. Leadership is about listening, collaborating, and working together to find solutions that support the entire community. While I bring experience, what is most important to me is that I have a lot to learn. I look forward to working alongside council and the town of Atikokan, including its residents, learning from your expertise, engaging in thoughtful discussions, and contributing where I can to support Atikokan's long-term success. If given the opportunity to serve, I would bring a collaborative mindset, a commitment to transparency, and genuine dedication to this community. I'm truly excited about what lies ahead for our town and would be honored to work alongside all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. We have a list of 4 questions. Councillors are going to take turns asking the question. So question 1 goes to Councillor Knowles.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Thank you, sir. The question is, what motivated you to apply to this position, and what unique skills and experiences do you bring that will benefit the community?
Thank you, Councillor Knowles. Atikokan is more than just where I live. It's my home. My family has been here for generations, and my husband and I raise our daughters here. When the opportunity arose to apply for the position on council, I took time to reflect, not just on whether I was qualified, but on whether I could contribute in a meaningful way. My motivation comes from a genuine desire to serve, learn, and collaborate to support Atikokan's growth while respecting its history and identity. In my statement of qualifications, I spoke about my technical skills and experiences, planning, administration, and infrastructure, but I also recognize that being a councillor requires more than technical expertise. It takes the ability to listen, build relationships, and create an environment where ideas can be shared openly and respectfully. I believe I bring a perspective, one that is rooted in both experience and an openness to new ideas. My approach has always been to ask questions, challenge assumptions where necessary, and consider different angles to problem solving. I don't believe change is about discarding what works. It's about solidifying strengths while adapting to new opportunities. If selected, I'd bring a collaborative mindset, a strong work ethic, and a respect for the experience that already exists within council and administration. I'm committed to working collaboratively and as part of a democratic decision-making process, contributing ideas, supporting thoughtful discussions, and helping shape policies that keep Atikokan a place where people want to live, work, and build their future.
Thank you. Next up is Councillor Martin, question number 2.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Thank you, Sarah, for your opening statements. So my question is, what do you think are the top priorities for our community?
Thank you, Councillor Martin. Atikokan's priorities require balancing immediate needs with long-term planning. I see this role as an opportunity to work with you all to build on the efforts already underway. Infrastructure and housing. Roads, water systems, and waste management are essential. But housing development is also a key priority. If we want to attract families and workers, we need shovel-ready housing developments and the associated infrastructure to support growth. At the same time, it's important to consider accessibility and affordability for seniors and marginalized communities who may require different housing options. We must also invest in public spaces and amenities that reflect Atikokan's identity and strengthen our collective civic pride. I know these challenges are complex, and I would welcome the opportunity to learn more about what's already in place and where I can support future planning. Economic diversification. Atikokan has strong natural and cultural assets that can support economic growth. By working together, we can enhance support for small businesses, expand tourism opportunities, and explore new industries. My background in policy development has involved balancing economic and environmental priorities, and I'd love to participate in discussions fostering economic resilience while maintaining Atikokan's identity. Youth retention and engagement. Our town's long-term sustainability depends on keeping young people engaged and invested in their future here. Expanding job opportunities, recreation, and community involvement can make Atikokan a more attractive place to live and work. I'm interested in hearing from council and administration about initiatives already in place and how I can assist in ongoing efforts in this area. Social inclusion and accessibility. A strong community is one where everyone feels valued and supported, and ensuring residents have access to the necessary services and programs that they need. While these priorities are important, I also know that every councillor brings their perspective and expertise.
Thank you, Sarah. That's your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Next question is to Councillor Shine.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Thank you, Sarah. Question number 3 is, how would you handle situations where your personal feelings or opinions differ from council's final decision?
Thank you, Councillor Shine. I believe that being a councillor is about serving the community, not pushing personal opinions. If I disagreed with a proposal, my first step would be to ask questions and listen. Did I fully understand the reasoning? Had I taken time to hear different perspectives? In my experience, many disagreements stem from differences in information or priorities, and discussion often leads to better understanding of the bigger picture. Once a decision's made, I'd respect and support it publicly, recognizing that council operates as a collective democratic body. Even when there are differing viewpoints, it's important that decisions are upheld to maintain public trust. Throughout my career, I've worked in multi-stakeholder environments, unionized teams, and policy discussions where not everybody agrees. Remaining calm, asking thoughtful questions, and focusing on shared goals has helped me navigate these situations effectively. Ultimately, I believe that respecting the decision-making process and working collaboratively is the best way to move forward.
Thank you, Sarah. And the last question goes to Councillor Stimson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Thank you, Sarah. What do you think our community should look like in the future?
Thank you, Councillor Stimson. When I think about Atikokan's future, I see a strong and sustainable community where families, businesses, and individuals can thrive. well-maintained infrastructure and housing, where I imagine safe, reliable infrastructure that supports residents and businesses, with continued investments in water systems, roads, and housing development to accommodate growth. That also means ensuring seniors and marginalized residents have access to infrastructure that meets their needs and allows them to remain in the community they've helped build. Atikokan's natural assets and local expertise position us well for tourism expansion, business development, and new industries. I'd love to work with you all to explore ways to build on our strengths while creating those new opportunities. Beyond infrastructure and economic growth, the people make a community strong. Supporting recreation, cultural initiatives, and social programs will keep Atikokan a place where people want to stay, raise their families, and build their futures. And I hope to see a community where residents feel heard, informed, and engaged in municipal decisions. Encouraging open communication and collaboration is something I value, and I look forward to participating in those discussions. While I have ideas about Atikokan's future, I know that building that future is a collective effort, and I don't claim to have all the answers. But I believe that by working together, asking the right questions, and building on existing strengths, we can move toward a vision that reflects the needs of all residents. Thank you for your time and consideration this evening. I truly appreciate the opportunity to participate in this process.
Great, Sarah, thank you very much. And I want to thank all the candidates. It was, I imagine it's a little unnerving being up there and asking questions, getting questions asked of you. And you all handled it very well, very impressed. And we are going to take a 5-minute break. Clerk? So we will take a 5-minute break, and I want to remind councilors, myself, that we are not to discuss how people went and how it went and who you're going to vote for. But we'll take a 5-minute break, and we'll come back and we will do the voting. Okay, at this point, I will turn it to Clerk Bates.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Good evening, everyone. I would like to start by commending all the candidates for their exceptional efforts. Council has a very tough decision ahead of them. Now that the interviews have concluded, we're to move on to the voting. Here's the process. Candidates' names will be called in order in which they address council. When I call a candidate's name, council members will vote in support of one candidate only by a show of hands. Please leave your hand up until your vote is counted. This process will be followed for each candidate until the list of candidates has been exhausted. Voting rounds will proceed until either one person has accumulated the majority needed to win, which is 4, or if we have a tiebreaker. For each round, the person or persons who receive no votes will not move on to the next round. If no person receives 0 votes and there is a tie for last place, those candidates' names will be drawn. The names drawn will move on to the next round, and the persons whose name was not drawn will not move on to the next round. Should there only be 2 candidates left and it comes to a tie, the candidates will be provided an additional opportunity to address council for up to 5 minutes, and the vote will be retaken for the remaining candidates as outlined previously. If there still is a tie, a name will be drawn and that person will be deemed the successful candidate. I wish you all the very best of luck and echo the mayor that though we only have 1 seat, we hope you'll all consider running for council in the fall of 2026. And with that, we will begin the voting. Ready? A show of hands for candidate Haley Foy.
Councillor Johnson, Councillor Stimson, Councillor Shine.
Show of hands for candidate Tyson Garrow. No? 0? 0. Okay. Show of hands for candidate Sarah Lyons.
Councillor Shine, you can't
Okay. I was wondering if I did that right.
Okay.
Guess I should have clarified that first.
Sorry. Councillor Knowles. Mayor Ferguson. Councillor Martin, sorry. Sorry, I forgot about you, Councillor Martin. Your vote has been recorded.
Thank you.
We have a tie. So that means. So that is a tie. Tyson Garou is not going to proceed on to the next round of voting. Did they get 5 minutes? Yes. Yeah. Okay, we will call up candidate Haley Foy for 5 minutes.
All right, thank you, everyone, for having me up here again. So, like I said, I believe that our town is only going to grow to the extent that the people grow. And it starts within us, and when we lead ourselves and we lead by example, then we can lead everyone else. And I would really like to create a sense of community and build a bridge between leadership and the people in the community. I really believe that if the people of Atikokan feel heard, feel understood, feel proud to live and feel a part of all the decision making, or at least have the understanding of why the decisions were made, it could solve a lot of our problems. I really just want to focus on becoming better people in ourselves so we can help other people. I'm really looking forward to working with everyone in the community and helping grow as a community. I think just spending time like becoming one and having growth together is going to grow everything, right? I really believe in Atikokan. I am from Atikokan. Like I said, I've traveled to 14 different countries. I've worked in countless cities across Canada and across the world, and I've chosen to come back. And so by coming back, I really want to take everything that I've learned when traveling, through my work experiences in the financial industry, through my own personal development, and I want to share it with the community, because when we grow together, that's when the real change happens, and I really want to be a part of that. Thank you so much for letting me stand up here. Thank you for letting me fumble on my words and just be real with you, because I am a real person. We're all real people, and everyone is just doing the best they can with the resources that they have. And once we come to an understanding that we're all just doing our best, then we can really work together and be united. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley, and we will ask Sarah to step to the mic for up to 5 minutes.
Thank you for the opportunity to address you again this evening. First, I want to acknowledge the strength of the candidates who have put their names forward tonight. It speaks volumes about our community that so many people care deeply and want to contribute to its future. I have great respect for the knowledge, experiences, and perspectives that have been shared throughout this process. Over the past several weeks, I've taken time to reflect on why I put my name forward for council. The answer isn't entirely simple, but what it comes down to is I care about this community. I believe in collaborative decision making, and I want to work alongside you all. Atikokan's success depends not on any one person, but on the collective knowledge and experience of council and community members. I see this role as an opportunity not only to contribute, but to also learn. I know that stepping into municipal governance means understanding existing structures, processes, and listening to those with experience and working together to build on this progress that's already been made to date. I feel I bring a balanced perspective to the role of councillor, one that is rooted in both experience and mostly in a willingness to embrace new ideas. My background, as I mentioned previously, in government administration, policy, and planning, have given me insight into how decisions impact communities. I've worked with municipalities, Indigenous communities, and industries, and stakeholders to navigate complex issues, but always with a focus on collaboration and practical problem solving. Beyond technical expertise, I bring a commitment to teamwork and an open mind. My approach has always been to ask thoughtful questions, challenge assumptions when necessary, and engage in discussions. These lead to well-informed decisions. I believe that good governance, like I stated before, is about balancing stability and adaptability and solidifying what is working while also being open to those new opportunities. One of the things I value most is respecting the experience and contributions of others. Every councillor, every staff member, and every resident brings unique insights that help shape the future of our town. If selected, I'd approach this role with a deep respect for the knowledge that exists here today, and I would be eager to contribute where I can, while also learning from those who have been serving Atikokan already. Municipal governance is a shared responsibility, and I believe my ability to listen, communicate effectively, and engage in meaningful discussions will allow me to work collaboratively with Council to make decisions that reflect the best interests of our community. I believe Atikokan is at an important moment in its history. Like many rural communities, we face challenges, but we also have a strong foundation and an incredible opportunity for growth. If selected, I'd be committed to working with you all to build on what makes Atikokan unique while ensuring that we are planning for sustainable and a prosperous future. Finally, I want to thank you for considering my application and for the work that you do to serve our community. Regardless of the outcome tonight, I remain committed to supporting Atikokan in any way I can. Yet, if given the opportunity to serve, I'll bring a collaborative mindset, a strong work ethic, and respect for the role that each of you play in governing our town. I'm hopeful that I'll get the opportunity to work alongside each of you, engage with our residents, and contribute to the continued success. And I just, once again, thank you all for your time.
Two very compelling arguments, so turn it back to Clerk Bates.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Can I have a show of hands for candidate Haley Foy?
Councillor Johnson, Councillor Stimson.
Can I have a show of hands for candidate Sarah Lyons?
Councillor Knowles, Councillor Shine, Mayor Ferguson, Councillor Martin.
So that is a majority vote. Congratulations to our successful candidate, Councillor Sarah Lyons. No, she can read it. So Councillor Sarah Lyons, you have been appointed to the office of Councillor for the Town of Atikokan for the remainder of the council term to fall of 2026. Are you prepared to take the solemn declaration of office?
I am.
You will then raise your right hand and read your declaration of office, after which, as a pledge of your fidelity to render the solemn declaration, you will affix your signature to the prescribed form in token of your submission hereto.
I, Sarah Lyons, having been appointed to the office of councillor in the municipality of Atikokan, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, and I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Thank you. What? I need a mover and a seconder to appoint Councillor Sarah Lyons. Councillor Shine, Councillor Stimson. So thank you, Mayor Ferguson and members of council. In open view of this assembly, I declare this council duly organized within the meaning of the act and that this person appointed to the council of the town of Atikokan has taken the required declaration of office. It is my honor to present for the remainder of the 22 to 2026 term of council Councillor Lyons. I will now officially turn the meeting over to Mayor Ferguson for the remainder of the agenda.
So the remainder of the agenda is to adjourn the meeting. Moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Stimson, resolved that this meeting do now adjourn. In favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone.